Good evening, everyone, or good morning, maybe for you. Welcome to another daily vlog. I'm currently watching the fourth episode of Alien Earth, and just wanted to give you a small little review of my take on this series because I'm a huge fan of the Alien franchise, but also the Predator franchise, and I try not to spoil too much of the show, but I would say if you haven't watched yet, maybe don't watch this because I might spoil some of the parts. Okay, give you a 5-second warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers potentially incoming for episode 1 to 3. As I said, I'm still watching episode 4, but I just wanted to talk about it because I really enjoy watching this series. It is, as far as I understand, in terms of timeline, in between the Ridley Scott films, so Prometheus and stuff, but also Aliens and Alien 3. And the last one, Alien Romulus, is shortly before Alien. So this series, if I'm not completely mistaken, is somewhere around the Romulus timeline. So that by itself kind of opens up some of the weird things in episode 1, 2, 3. Hopefully they will kind of plug those plot holes a little bit. So the story basically is that for those of you who don't are that deep into the Alien franchise, you have these big corporations running Earth basically, and all of these exploration ships. And Wayland Yutani is basically one of those big corporations that are very prevalent, is that the word, or very known in the Aliens, Alien 3, and all of the Alan Ripley films. So they send out these huge ships, exploration ships, to kind of gather information. And again, spoiler territory now, their ship was on a deep space mission to kind of gather alien life forms for research purposes. They get all of that stuff, and for some reason, the whole spaceship crashes on Earth. But unfortunately, in the territory of a different corporation, huge corporation of this very... I don't know if he's evil yet, but he's not a person that you like, this very arrogant... No, he's evil. This very arrogant, evil, rich kid that runs another corporation. And the spaceship lands basically in one of the cities that he controls. So he takes all of those specimens, alien specimens, and with his team. So in this timeline, there is an arms race on cybernetics, either cyborgs, synthetics, and he's making a way where he can kind of put the mind of humans into a cybernetic body, so giving it a mixture of everything. And this is a plot hole that I don't really understand, and I hope that they would plug it, because although this is in the middle of, or in between, Prometheus and the Alien Alan Ripley franchise, it seems like that all of the cyborgs are much more advanced. So that is why I'm not really sure if I got the timeline correct. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this is somewhere in between. And the cyborgs and the technology seems much further along the line. But that's not the biggest issue, actually. Anyways, he was able to put the minds of children into cyborgs, and he utilizes them to kind of go on a mission to get all of those alien specimens. And that's basically everything. Very shortly summarized, that is everything that happens in episode 1, 2, 3. I'm trying not to spoil too much. It's actually really cool and really enjoyable. Not only because of the story, but also from my perspective as an editor. There are so many editing elements in this that are really refreshing. For example, there is a dialogue scene. If you have watched my vlog yesterday, I kind of explained the 180-degree camera axis conversational rule. And what they made in one of the episodes, oh, I just remember this is episode 4, but it's not spoiler. You see two people talking to each other, but via telecommunication, and they superimpose both. Instead of cutting from one person to the other person's close-up, they actually superimpose both of them. It's a very old school technique, because for the longest time in the editing world we said like, okay, dissolving from one scene to another, avant-garde doesn't do that, because it was a very old school method, but they utilized that in this series again. And it is basically an homage to the old series, because obviously Aliens was in the 90s, in the 80s, and it's an homage to some of the techniques that they did that, but they utilized this in this series to such a refreshing and very modern way that although it's an homage to editing techniques in the past, it works in a very refreshing ways. So from an editor's perspective, filmmaker's perspective, this is a really cool series. Also the whole camera work, the set design, it looks great. It looks really good. And also from the storyline, it works. It has good pacing. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It takes, again, a couple of what do you say? It pays homage to the old style. It's slowly edited in some parts, but not as slow as in the 90s, where some of the people nowadays would potentially find it boring, but they found a really good middle ground in terms of pacing and in terms of utilizing those old school editing techniques. What I did not like is, and I read an article, at the end of each episode, there is this, and again, this is also an homage to the old style, there's always this old school 90s, 80s rock. In one episode it was Motley Crue, in the third episode it was Metallica. And while I liked the kind of music, it was always very jarring, because there is something of a cliffhanger happening at a very dramatic thing, and then suddenly there is this old school hard rock upbeat music coming in. And as far as I understand, the director wanted to pay homage, but also some of the viewers thought of it as a palate cleanser to kind of make a point, okay, this is over now. You can kind of take a breather and go into the next episode. And yeah, while you can see it that way, I found it very jarring to have that kind of musical break in there. Also, what's really weird, and that is why I'm always saying I'm not really 100% sure if I get the timeline correctly. If those corporations know of the aliens, why, especially Wayland Yutani, why in the Alien movie it feels like that no one knows of that, because they gather so much knowledge in this. Maybe it's because all of the knowledge is with this other guy and not with Wayland Yutani. Not sure yet. We have to see the whole series to the end to hopefully some of those plot lines or plot holes will be filled. But right now there are a lot of questions. How it is possible that no one knew about aliens in the Ellen Ripley storyline, and why the cyborgs are seemingly so much more advanced than anyone in the Alien franchise. Also, one thing that was very jarring, you have this really rich guy who's supposedly so smart. He stands in one of the episodes in front of these alien eggs, completely disregarding any quarantine protocols, safety protocols. He just stands there, goes over it, and almost gets hit by or is very noticeable risking getting infected. Although he has the informations, he disregards basically all of the quarantine protocol with alien life forms. Although being that smart, that was really weird. But I digress. So far, this series is amazing, and I would highly recommend to watch it. And especially try to watch it as closely as possible, because there are so many good editing and filmmaking parts that I really enjoy. It's amazing. It's as I said, there are some flaws with the storyline, but overall, even if you don't like the storyline at all, there are so many cool little things, be it set design, be it editing. Also, the acting is really good, actually. I didn't mind any of the actors. It was so far really enjoyable. Yeah, I am looking forward to continue watching the 4th episode. Let me know in the comment section below if you have watched it so far, Alien Earth, what you think about it. Let me know in the comment section below. And maybe check out my other movie review that I did a few days ago about Thunderbolts. You can check it out up here. YouTube thinks that you liked the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. I see you in the next daily vlog. Thank you very much.